still watching the Afia Morning Show. Of course, we're still discussing developments in the state. Now, for a long time, the city has been a beehive of activity. Recall that the Nigerian Bar Association recently relocated its annual general conference from Rivers to Enugu due to democratic concerns around Rivers State. Now reports say that the Enugu State Ministry of Transport has suspended all transport-related enforcement activities in Enugu until Monday, 1st September 2025. This was disclosed in a statement from the ministry, which added that the move is to ensure seamless mobility and zero friction during movements related to the ongoing NBA Annual General Conference. The ministry also noted that while enforcement is suspended, its primary responsibility will now be traffic management. The notice states that all officers are to direct traffic aggressively and proactively to ensure orderliness across the city. It also instructs that all field staff must caution motorists professionally when necessary, without harassment or intimidation. The ministry vowed severe consequences for staff who fail to comply with the directive, including possible job loss. It further urged other transport partners in the local governments and the board to follow suit. To discuss these developments, we're of course still joined in the studio by Afia TV Head of News and Current Affairs, Mr. Alex Obodo. Mr. Alex,
you know,
it's a big one.
There's something wrong with that. What it's telling us is that, okay, it's okay to have friction when NBA is not here.
Right.
And because they are admitting that the people they send to the field are actually unruly sometimes, I find it sent some chill down my spine. It wasn't nice. I will feel bad as an Enugu person reading that. And I would like the Enugu Minister of Transport to issue another statement, properly worded, telling the traffic officers what to do without recourse to what was happening before. So what this is saying, it's okay for your people to be flogged and pushed on the roads. But when the NBA comes, they should just ask everybody to move. It's not nice, and it needs to stop.
At the same time, you know, one would also wonder if this should have been some kind of internal communication because now what you have is a chaotic situation.
You're absolutely correct. This is supposed to be internal communication. I don't know how it ended up on social media. You call everybody. Opera Square can contain them and address them. For the period of this and this and this, this is what we need you to do. Don't chase anybody. Don't do this, don't do that. If you do this or do that, you're gone. So not every small thing, you are dropping it in the WhatsApp group. And there are people, without even reading what was sent, they'll just push it to their page.
Right.
So I read it, and I read it again, and it's been generating, if there's anything bigger than negative comments, it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair. Sincerely speaking, as an Enugu person, that's not fair. That's not fair. I still insist that, what's his name again? Obiozo should issue a proper statement correcting that. That was wrong. So, that was wrong communication.
So if apparently because of the NBA, and that's the reason why they're suspending these individuals from the road, right? And then what need are they when the NBA is done coming back to our roads, right? Because apparently we can all navigate.
No, the thing is that the fact that that memo referenced friction, harassment, intimidation.
Or they know, because people do complain about these things.
So that's what I'm saying. So
right?
You knew these things happen and you failed to address them. Why would it take the NBA coming for you to actually even mention in a memo that it's happening?
Are they avoiding litigations that could actually spring up because of...
No, beyond litigations. It's about...
These are lawyers, right? You know how they go hard on when they know their rights and on all that. So are they avoiding any type of...
No, I mean, granted, there are people, there are road users who commit all sorts of traffic infractions. We know that. What we are saying is that you admitting in a letter or a memo that there is friction, intimidation, and harassment. I don't know what that is.
Why didn't they treat these things all this while? Why did it take the NBA coming to...
I don't know.
I mean, that's the same question Mr. Alex has been asking.
That I will answer that.
I think what should have been appropriate in this case, if I'm allowed to even share just a little bit of what I think it should have been a holistic directive to officials of the Ministry of Transport.
To be of good behavior.
To be of good behavior to every Enugu resident from now henceforth. not a timeline of between this day and this day, the 1 week, you suspend them from those directives. Because what you're saying, like you rightly pointed out, and OG is, of course,
it's okay to humiliate us.
It's okay to disrupt people's schedule, because one thing is for sure.
No, I still insist Obiozo should rewrite
it, yes.
We're saving face, apparently.
Obiozo should issue another statement correcting the impression they created in this.
Now, as a media house, we want things to go public. What we want is to access the document. So even coming out and saying that we should have been internal, somehow is actually indicting us, because we are supposed to make that information public. So I think the bigger question now, even correcting our earlier statement, would be it should not even have been worded that way. Like you rightly said, in the first place, it should have been, from now, we've noticed that there's been harassment, intimidation of motorists in the States. From now henceforth, we should treat Enugu residents fairly. This is a new directive for if you find someone flouting traffic violations. Because what you've done now is you've told people, you can go ahead and drive chaotically and pass traffic lights without stopping and bash each other, and then nothing is going to come of it. But then there is still the clause of if there's a case of an emergency, then the directive can take effect. But then how do you find that when everybody is doing what they like? Is it not creating more chaos?
So that's the point I'm making. This whole thing about thinking that those who use the roads are there for the taking, it's not nice. It needs to be corrected. And I insist the Minister of Transport, the Commissioner Obiozo, should issue another statement.
Right.
That's not nice. That's an insult to Enugu people.
I don't think the picture has been created properly.
They know. They have gotten the feedback.
Over 11,000 lawyers now are reaching about 15,000. They'll be in the States from the 22nd to 29th of August. Have we even begun to ruminate on, to picture, to marinate the thoughts that our roads are going to have possibly thousands of other commuters moving around to the various destinations in the state for different activities? Have we even understood the magnitude, the need for MOT officials to do their job diligently without all of these controversies coming about? Because you're going to have traffic chaos. It's possible. Because there are more vehicles on the road.
Now than ever.
Yeah, you're going to have more
now than ever.
Right, you're going to have more vehicles on the road. More Ubers on the road, if we can say that. You're going to have more people on the road. So, I don't know if we've really put that in perspective, how prepared we are for that overhaul that is about to come.
Is it for the road or for generally?
For the roads. Actually. Enugu roads are going to be full.
All right, okay.
We might have another Lagos.
Now that we've set aside the issue of the notice that they put out, I've been hearing things because there's supposed to be restriction of movement, vehicular movement in some places.
Yes.
I can understand that. I mean, if you have 15,000 people pouring into your city, their movement should also be priority. I understand that. And this is not something we are used to. So a few adjustments might be necessary. I understand some routes will be closed for people who are commuting, especially the commercial drivers. It's going to cause some pain, but if you're going to host people, you always give yourself some kind of inconvenience. That's opposed to issuing a directive indicting people. Those are totally two different things. Now, if you know that someone is coming to your house, say, if the Minister of Information is coming to Afia TV, I mean, if there are things that were not properly placed, well, I think we'll try to place it right.
Right.
If the governor is coming here, we'll try to, sweep even if the compound has been swept, we'll try to sweep it again.
Your holistic assessment on the notice of road closure and alternative routes, what is your holistic breakdown of those alternative routes created?
Okay, my suspicion is that it might not totally work. It might not totally work. What needs to happen is that we need to manage the traffic properly. Then government on its own, I think right now they have the capability to help the lawyers with their movement. So we are not supposed to bear the brunt of all that. We have CNG buses, you can deploy most of it and drop it for them there. If they want to move around, they should use it.
I guess they are using a couple of them. But
yeah, so because for me, I've looked at that list. I'm imagining how especially for people coming.
All right, just a quick breather. We'll have to go on a quick break now. When the monitor returns, we'll complete that line of thoughts. Quick break. The monitor returns in seconds. Stay tuned. Mr. Alex is still here, still assessing the recent directives. Mr. Alex, please go ahead with your line of thought.
Yes, so I think that the government now has the capacity to intervene. I ask them to do so because if they implement those things they issued in that vehicular restriction, it's not going to work.
Why do you say
A lot of people can't go to work. Are they going to declare public holidays in Enugu because of NBA? While I support that we have to host them properly, I've looked at that list, and a lot of people will not get to their workplaces if they have to obey that rule. What it means is that they will have to walk all the way.
Or come out very early.
No. If I'm going to work by 12 noon, you don't expect me to go to work by 9 because of that. I should move when I'm supposed to move. But I understand that, yes, are you restricting it for security purposes? Because the area where the thing is holding can actually be cordoned if they want. If they want to, they can cordon from government house axis. That's fine. But the whole places they've listed is a bit... I've looked at it and I've looked at it again. It's going to also affect government officials.
What could be the reason why?
Because the areas that are cordoned are the highbrow areas.
What could actually be the reason why?
Yeah, the reason is that, the whole, so that they can move around, but we need to move around too.
They can move around.
We need to move around too. So, I mean, that's why I keep saying, maybe the CNG buses should be at their service a little more. I think that will work.
Speaking about the preparations for the guests, we're going to have at least 15,000 guests in just a few days, just a couple of hours. How do you feel about the ongoing speedy continuation of the beautification of the roundabouts in Enugu State? Because we've seen a lot of construction work going on, both in rehabilitating sections of the roads that have been, degraded, and also the roundabouts being beautified and speedily completed.
Well, unfortunately, one would have thought that those roundabout jobs would have been done by now because it didn't start today. They've been on it because that was the time you even saw the Ijele. So one would have thought if they wanted, excuse me, that if they wanted to, the NBA lawyers to see it, well, the whole idea has now, it's not going to work. But it's a good thing that work is going on. I mean, you come to the state, you see.
Do you think that the roundabouts would not be ready by Monday?
I don't know now. No, that is not going to be ready. I passed by a lot of them. It's not going to be ready. The roundabouts are not necessarily my issue. The roundabouts are like icing on the cake because they are not obstructing the traffic. They're just beautification pieces. If you were here in the 80s and 90s, when we started having beautiful roundabouts, when Amoka Mera was here, it was very, very personal about having all those monuments on the roundabouts. So it's a nice thing. I don't know what they want to put there now, but
it's just another.
Yeah. So because they've removed pretty much everything.
Yeah. Does these eventually, the plans from our governor, right? Does this position Enugu as a hub of assembly?
I guess that's the whole idea. If you listen to the governor talk, he tells you he wants to open Enugu as a tourism hub. That's why he brought Enugu Air. That's why he has launched this Enugu Transport Management Infrastructure. That's why he's building the ICC Hotel. That's why Hotel Presidential is now back on stream. So if you're asking people to come to your state, the infrastructure to host them should be there, which is hotel. A man will need where to lay his head if he enters your city. Because at the end of the day, even if you go to the club, whatever it is you go to, you have to sleep. You have to sleep. So I think that it's not going to be easy, but it's possible.
All right, what would be your final word right now on these three collective issues that we've addressed this morning? We started from the revamped hotel presidential, segued onto the directive for traffic enforcement, and then we moved on to the notice on road closure and alternative routes. A lot of these developments have dominated the show because they've all happened in such quick transition, such quick sequence. What would be your overall take on all of this happening right now?
Well, my overall take is that for Enugu, let's also understand that we are hosting people. Yes, there are concerns about some of the directives, but when you also look at it closely, if you are going to host someone, you have to make some sacrifices. We can't avoid making those sacrifices. Even if they don't close the road, you're going to find some inconvenience. Your favorite eating places might be running out of food faster than usual. So you need to be on alert so you don't go hungry one of these days.
That's right.
So people need to understand that, okay, this will last a few days. And it's a good thing that people now love to identify with our state. People don't quite understand what this means. People who are elsewhere want to identify with the state.
Something very important, right? In any country or state that tourism is viable, there is always sensitization, to the people, on how to accommodate, receive, and treat these tourists, these visitors. You think they've done enough in Enugu State, maybe the NOA or the commission, the tourism commission, and culture and tourism commission? Do you think they've done enough to sensitize people on how to behave, receive, accommodate, and treat these visitors? Because apparently, influx of people we're going to be experiencing that in Enugu, because that's the
well, I think that what I see more now is excitement. There is no enlightenment going on. All I see is people are just excited that Enugu is hosting NBA. But beyond that, there should be some strategic communication. All right, in the Enugu, we are hosting this. Let's do this, let's do that. Appeal to the people. I mean, this whole thing about just thinking that because we are hosting NBA that people will fall in line. People won't. People want to live their lives.
People are people.
Yeah, so I think that the communication needs to be strategic, it needs to be empathic, it needs to be directed properly. Not that thing from Ministry of Transport. It should be withdrawn.
Thank you, Ms. Alex, for
Thank you
sharing
very
your
much.
input
Very
today.
insightful.
Thank you once again.
Thank you.
We'll continue to look and see. We've come to the end of the weekly edition of the Afia Morning Show. But don't fret, Divine Onwoha and Ogochukwu Osai will be here for the AM show weekend edition tomorrow at 8 a.m. And we'll meet again Monday at 8 a.m. Of course, until then, on behalf of the entire production team of the Afia Morning Show, this is saying thank you for your viewership, thank you for watching, and thank you for being a part of Afia TV's story. I remain Nathalie Uku.
And I remain OG Mwachukwu. Have a tremendous Friday and a weekend ahead. Bye for now.